Welcome to Anchorenza and RadioG interviews. Today we have with us a charismatic person, one who has redefined fast bowling in the world of cricket in an illustrious career spanning 13 years. Now, he is the Global Hearing Ambassador for Cochlear Limited. He is Mr. Brett Lee. Mr. Lee, welcome to IIT Guwahati.
Gentlemen, please call me Brett because I feel very old when you call me Mr. Lee.
Alright.
How are you? You good?
Definitely.
You good?
Yeah, we're good. We're glad you could make it to IIT Guwahati. It's a pleasure to have you here. What do you think about the campus? I see you went around the campus. And
Beautiful. Yeah, it's a very green campus. We went for a bike ride. We saw the lake. I reckon there could be a couple of barracudas in the lake as well. Get some fish in there, but it's a wonderful spot. It's it's something like 276 hectares on top, so huge campus, and the people seem to enjoy it over here, which is incredible.
it's a pretty serene campus for us as well as a study atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you are huge in India. There are like millions of people that you have inspired throughout your life. Who inspired you to play cricket? What made you enter the world of cricket?
Good question. I guess I was just not forced into cricket, but I just went down that road because my older brother did. You normally copy what your brother does, or your older sister does. And my older brother Shane played cricket when he was 12. I was 9. He was about 11 and a half, 12, and I was 9. And my younger brother's 7. So Shane played, I played, and my younger brother Grant decided to play. And that was it. We fell in love with cricket. And that was then the journey happened from that very moment. So from the age of 9, I said to Mum and Dad that I want to be the world's fastest bowler and I want to play for Australia at 9.
The rest is history.
And yeah, there's been a lot of ups and downs in between, but that's all part of the journey. It's incredible.
Apart from cricket, music has also been a pretty large part of your life, right?
Sorry, spill it everywhere. Play on.
Music has been a large part of your life, right? You were part of a band, Six and Out, where you're the bass guitarist. You had a single, you were the lyricist and the singer for a music single with Asha Bhosle. Quickly topped the charts after that. And you set up a charitable foundation, Music, in India to help kids with the help of music. So, what inspired you to take up music as well, apart from cricket as a passion? Music has also been a pretty big passion for you.
Look, there was a part of my life that I almost felt was missing. So, I say your life's made up of like a jigsaw puzzle. And my life was almost complete at the age of 22, 23. I was on the verge of playing for Australia. I felt fit. I felt like I could do what I wanted to do. But if you go out and you have a horrible game, I'd come home and then I'd be thinking about the game. I'd be thinking about how can I improve my bowling, didn't get any wickets today. You get a bit stressed out and you get a bit, not depressed, but you almost get a bit like, what's going on? And then I discovered music. And that to me was the final piece of the puzzle that almost made my life and made me who I was. So that totally got me away from the game of cricket when I didn't have to think about cricket. So I'd be finishing a game, test match, come back to the hotel room, and I would literally sit down, say this is my hotel room. Obviously it wouldn't be this big because we only had small little rooms back then. But get the guitar out, play a few songs, learn to play the guitar, try to teach myself hearing from ear. So play from ear. So I'd hear a song on the radio and then try to sort of find out where the key is. And I really liked that. That excited me. And then from that moment, I fell in love with music. And I was switched off for cricket. Next morning, I was like, okay, all right, well, yesterday wasn't that great, but I had a wonderful sleep, good dinner, played some music, I'm refreshed, let's go again today. And that really then set the benchmark.
In an interview, you said that you would have been a rock star if not for a cricketer. Do you often mix these two in any way, considering that you have an immense passion for both music and cricket?
Well, it's funny how you speak to a lot of rock stars and they want to play sport. And you speak to a lot of sporting stars and they want to be rock stars. It's almost like, is the grass always greener on the other side? And a lot of people would argue and say, yeah, it is, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's a lot of admiration for people that are gifted in their chosen sport or chosen career. What you guys do and the hard work and the study and the dedication, I could not do that because that wasn't where I saw my life going. That wasn't my dream or passion. And likewise, my dedication to the game and the hard work I trained, you guys probably couldn't do that because that wasn't your passion. So everyone's gifted in something, and you've got to be committed 100%. But if I would have it my way, I would love to be a rock star, because I think it'd be a pretty cool life, you know, out there on stage and jamming away and, you know, having a good time. But fortunately or unfortunately, my cricket was better, so I went down the road of cricket.
Fortunately for a lot of people.
Definitely.
Now you're the Global Hearing Ambassador for Cochlear Limited, and you also set up a charitable foundation, like I said, Music in India. Apart from that, you support a number of charities, from the Salvation Army to the ADRA Man, and even the Make-A-Wish Foundation Australia. So what is it that drives you to help people? I mean, is there something that really makes you want to help people who are in need, and just charities and help out in general?
Look, I think I'm in a position where I can help people, and that's the great thing. There are a lot of people in the world that want to help people and do help people, and it's the only time in my life where I can use my profile that I've built up through cricket, that I can actually, I'm in a lucky position that I can help people. So if, you know, my friend back at home, if he wanted to come to India and no one knows his name or who he is, he can help people, but he's going to have a harder time getting the message out because no one knows his name or who he is or what he does. Whereas I'm lucky now that through cricket it's given me a name and I guess a profile, and I can use that profile now in a positive way, not to push in a line at the airport or not to go and get a free meal at a hotel or whatever it is, right? That some other people do, but I don't do that. It's a positive way to help people, and I like helping people. You know, there's a real good feeling about when, you know, you sort of give in life, because it actually makes you feel good. And I do support a number of things back in Australia, you know, with some hospitals and, you know, Make-A-Wish Foundation, which I've done my whole life, Salvation Army, as you mentioned, and, you know, Cochlear came about because it was a wonderful meet and greet that we did. You know, the movie, they were part of the movie, and my son suffered some hearing loss when he was 4 or 5 with a fall, an accident. Luckily for him, his hearing came back normally. But as a worried parent, I was concerned, how would he be in his life with growing up with only hearing from one ear? And it concerned me. So every time I looked up, Cochlear kept bouncing up on good. And I was like, far out, I'm keep reading about Cochlear, this is incredible. And the next thing, there in the movie, I was like, wow, this is fate. Something's got to be done about this. We started talking, and luckily for us both, they made me the Global Hearing Ambassador. And then that really then just snowballed into what we wanted to do. I knew the work that Cochlear had been doing, but I didn't know enough about it. I didn't know enough about the technology. Now I've upskilled myself, I've learned about what they're doing, and even every single day I'm learning a lot as to what they're doing and ways to achieve their goals. So it's just like absolutely incredible, and I'm like, far out. They're helping so many people around the world, and certainly here in India.
You extensively toured India as the global hearing ambassador of Cochlear. Are there any special instances that stand out for you during which you met people?
Look, there are a lot of instances and times where I've met some inspirational people. You know, it could be a baby having a switch on back in Mumbai. So I'm there to witness this child who might be 2 years of age, and they switch on the implant, which was implanted maybe a month or two before. And I'm there on the day where they switch it on, and the parents are there, or the uncle, whoever it might be, to watch the baby. And the reaction on the child's face is priceless. And it makes you cry. Like it's such an emotional thing, because whether the kid screams, whether the kid does this, startles, whether the kid smiles, any reaction is good, because it tells me that the implant has been successful, and now this kid has got a great journey and a great life ahead of him or her through what this technology has done, which I still think is an absolute miracle.
It's all about creating the smiles on people's faces.
Yeah, it is, and that's what's really cool about it. I just I love how, you know, my role's easy, my job's easy, and I get a lot of gratification out of seeing what it does. I get a lot of satisfaction out of the kids being up here again. You also get a lot of praises about what I'm doing, but what I can say is that the real heroes are the doctors and the clinicians, the speech therapists, all the follow-up people that, once the operation's done, that's not it. There has to be the follow-ups and as I said, the speech therapist to get the correct words moving in the mouth and put the sound to the words and to make them sound like they're back to normal again. So they are the real champions, and I'm just, great to be on the journey with them.
Moving on to a lighter note, we read that you are a foodie at heart, and in particular Indian foodie. You like Indian cuisines, Indian food. What is your favorite food? What is your favorite item from the
Butter chicken.
Butter chicken.
Toda spice. Not too spicy. No, I've always loved Indian food. I've always loved butter chicken, and I call it, you get the big naan bread, which is like your thigh pad when you're batting.
Yeah.
You wrap it up, and it's you get some beautiful rice there as well, and some dal, and you get whatever it might be. It's very rich food. So for me, obviously trying to keep fit, I limit the amount of times I treat myself. But it's beautiful food, and unless you've had Indian food in India, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
And no disrespect to to the restaurants back in Australia, but it's different. It's cooked over here with love.
We couldn't help but notice a few traits and habits of yours. You always take a 30-meter run-up before you bowl, or you always wear your left shoe at the first, and you maintain your jersey number as 58 consistently. Are there any particular reasons behind these? My favourite number is 8.
Okay.
So I was born on the 8th. I grew up at number 8, and my house number was 8. One stage in my life I turned 8. That's pretty cool. And I also love 5. And in the Australian team, 5 was Steve Waugh, and 8 was Brendan Julian.
Okay.
So I thought, well, rather than, I can't, because they're both playing, I don't want to take their numbers, so I combined the two.
That's
Make it 58, and then that number then becomes you. Like, you become part of that number.
Yeah.
So you're wearing it 58 in the back, and then you see the kids come down to the cricket and they're all wearing Lee 58. And then you go to a restaurant, and whether it's a coincidence or the chef's a cricket fan, they'll put you on a table and they'll bring out, table number 58, and they'll put it in front of you. I always see 58 everywhere. And yeah, it's when I was in the market to buy a house, I was thinking, if 58 comes up, I think I might like this house more. But I don't know, it just becomes part of you. The whole, I put on my left shoe first, and I just think, well, I've got to put one on, so why not be my left? It's more habit than, I don't think anything's going to happen to me if I put my right shoe on, but probably because I strap my left ankle really heavily, and so my left shoe was always undone to get I had to stuff my foot in, because my foot was every time I did that, which is called plantar flexion, I'd get a really sharp pain in the back of the ankle. So they did all the stirrups and figure 8 to hold my ankle up, so I couldn't even move. So that was my foot the whole time I bowled. And then you try and get a right angle into your shoe with your sock, and you tape one. It takes a few minutes to get your shoe in, your foot in your shoe. So I'd focus very much on my left foot first, and that's probably why then became left foot and then right foot to follow.
Finally, are there any words you'd like to say to all the young and aspiring cricketers in the country?
Yeah, look, I just think chase your dream. That's the most important thing. If you believe in yourself and you believe in what your goal is in life, and also don't measure success on playing for your country or being the doctor or being super rich. That doesn't always mean that you're successful. Success to me is that if you have a goal, and your goal might be to play Ranji Cup cricket. If you achieve that goal, then you're successful. If your dream is to be a great dad and raise 2 beautiful children and live in the back of the villages somewhere, you've achieved your dream. That's brilliant. If your dream one day is to play for your country, then you go out there and you achieve that dream. So yeah, that's one little thing, is that people sometimes measure success about how much is in your bank account or if you've played for your country or not, but that's not necessarily the case.
Thank you for your time. That's all the questions we have for today.
But on guys, very good.
This is Himakar and Mahit from Anchorenza and RadioG signing off.